Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
A reminder that Donnie and Dolly's title sponsor, once again, Able Auctions. More on them a little bit later. But would you look at this? Our first live in-studio guest at CFL Commissioner Randy Ambrosie. I can tell you're happy, and I can't tell you how pleased I am to have someone other than this guy to the left of me. Now he's to the right of me, but that's okay. Thanks so much, Randy. I really appreciate it. Let's get right to the matter at hand for you. I'd imagine it's number one on the list. What is happening with the CFLPA labor situation?
Yeah, it's our biggest priority, and obviously the goal is to negotiate a long-term, mutually beneficial partnership with the players. And I think one of the things I'm really proud of is how hard both sides have worked in the last many weeks, in fact, over months, to really try to redefine the relationship, the spirit of the relationship, to think of each other more in that sense of a partnership. Where in the past at times it's felt a little adversarial. So yeah. I'm optimistic because I believe that both sides have come to the table with the right positive spirit and the right attitude. And of course, lots of work goes into trying to get a deal done. But me personally, my optimism is high.
Okay, the other thing that's happened with the CFL that's interesting is revenue sharing and the partnership with Genius. What can you tell us about those two elements?
Well, first I'd say, Winston Churchill famously said, "Never waste a crisis."
That's right.
And I'd like to think that, the league really embraced that. Over the past 2 years, we've created a revenue sharing plan that's been absent from the league for almost 40 years. And it's really going to make sure that our strong teams are supporting our teams that are weaker. It's about raising the tide so that, as they say, the rising tide raises all boats, all ships. Really excited about that. So this will be the first year to implement that program. Really, I believe it sets a new foundation for long-term league success. And then the partnership with Genius Sports inside of what we are now calling CFL Ventures, it takes a lot of our commercial assets and puts them inside of this CFL Ventures business. And then it gives the league access to this entire treasure trove of capabilities that Genius has. Genius is one of the biggest sports marketing, sports technology companies in the world with proven capabilities all around the world. And now the CFL is a partner with that great team at Genius. So really excited about what that's going to do for us over the next 10 years.
Before I get to Vancouver questions, I got to ask about getting younger fans. When I see CFL games and I see the audience or the stands being panned by the television, I see a lot of season ticket holders 20, 30 years ago, almost like Donnie and myself. How are you going to get younger? Get those young kids to the games?
Yeah, well, that was why that's why the product review was such an important exercise this year. So we started with one of the largest consumer feedback studies we've ever conducted, maybe the largest in league history, and we went to sports fans all across the country, including a good collection of CFL fans, and we asked a lot of questions with an organization that we hired to do the work. Looking for insights into what fans wanted, and in the end, they want game flow. They want that game to move. Yeah. They want excitement. Yeah. They want scoring. And, of course, just within the last 10 days, we announced our rule changes. One of the things I'm really excited about, moving those hash marks in. So now you don't have a dead zone on the short side of the field. And what we had before is from the right hash to the left hash to the right side, and was a throw that most coaches don't want the quarterback to make. Well, first of all, the ball's going horizontally for a long way. And so now moving those hash marks in makes the entire field. Look, we have about 600 square feet more space per player than the other brand of football has. This is going to give that giant canvas that we have, it's going to give us a chance to use the whole thing. I'm really excited about that. And that means if our goal at the beginning, fun, fast, and entertaining. We should want art to be the most entertaining, most exciting brand of football in the world. And if we do that, I believe with the combination of all the things we just talked about,
Genius,
and Genius's capabilities to market, I think we're going to invite a whole new generation of fans into our games and take this great history and build on it.
Randy, Vancouver, new owner, Amar Doman. Season ticket base, I don't think it's where it needs to be because I was there when Dickinson Printers, Buono Wackles, it was great. There was a lot of people at the stadium, and it was fun, exciting, like you said, Printers, Dickinson. What do they got to do in Vancouver to get back to at least that glory period?
Yeah, well, first of all, it starts with great leadership, and I think we're seeing what Amar is going to be capable of. The energy he has brought into the franchise, his partnership with Rick Lawlisher, and Rick's such a seasoned veteran,
yes,
and Rick knows how to build winners. So that combination is really exciting. Rick Campbell and what Coach Campbell's going to bring, and then you look at this roster and you think that there's some really interesting changes. I know the coach talked about getting the 2 players that they most wanted in the draft. I think they're building this team to win, and they've already I've got great plans for how they're going to market the team here to make the Lions such a prominent part of the BC community. I think they're on the right track for this to get back to those days, and I believe in the long term they'll not only get back, but they'll exceed those days.
Rick and I go way back with the CFL, and I don't know how much you watch our program, but fairly recently I came up with a multi-point CFL improvement plan.
It was a dictionary. It was this big.
Not save the CFL. It's doing just fine. Improve the CFL. And the one complaint, and you touched on it, games are too long. Randy, what about penalties that are far away from the play, that are ticky-tack? Has there been any talk with the officiating crews about cutting down on that sort of thing? Because I think it hurts the length of the games.
Yeah, well, we watch penalties closely. Look, I think some of the things that we're doing, so now we're going to put an official on the sideline so that the head referee doesn't have to come over to talk to the coach about a penalty.
Okay.
So everything we did was through the lens of game flow. And then we made a lot of changes. One of the things is being more consistent about blowing in the whistle to start the clock, so we get the play moving. We've got to be more disciplined about that, because fans don't want to see that dead space. And then I think, again, move the hashes in, give the teams that giant canvas to operate in. Now you look, if past seasons, if you're on the left hash, that left side of the field, your weak side, your will linebacker, your weak side linebacker doesn't have a lot of space to cover. Now that will linebacker, he has got a giant amount of space to cover. I think it's going to change the game. They're going to make the game more fun and more fast and excitement. I don't care. You can spend a lot of time watching something when it's fun and exciting. Yeah. And I think that's really more what we're focused on.
I also, as part of my Improve the CFL plan, and you may want to take out a notepad.
Yeah. You got 6 hours?
Yeah.
Every halftime show, these are the best halftime shows. I'm not talking about Super Dogs or anything like that. When kids are playing the minor football. Right. Across the field. And you bring the kids in. The Lions do it like once or twice a year. I love that. I think every halftime show should be that. First of all, you're getting football players and football families into the building. Secondly, it's exciting. It's exciting to watch. But getting back to the first point, the kids are in the building. Yeah. You get the kids in the building, so they put on a show, and maybe they become future customers.
Yeah.
So I just love that. Take it to the owners, and they'll thank me, and they can pay me later.
Well, listen, I get the distinct impression you've taken it to Rick already. So
he disagrees with everything I say.
So how did it go with Rick?
Not good.
He disagrees with everything.
20% of his ideas were okay.
Amar's on board.
Amar's okay. Good. Yeah. Well, that's pretty important, right?
Randy,
I think he is.
Randy, I just got a text in our Delaney's OK Tire and Lang Lane box. I will not go to a Lions game because games are too long.
We just touched on
Okay, but just hold on a sec. It can't be 3.5, 4 hours. Yeah. And by the time you park, you go an hour early, it's going to take you an hour to get home. It can't be 5, 6 hours.
Yeah.
And there were some nights, I'm not going to lie to you, BC Place, where I'm going, this is another 4-hour game.
Yeah. Yeah, look, we've done a lot of good things about making sure our games are fairly tight. Just shared some of the things we're talking about. Look, making sure we're tight on calling, blowing the whistle in to start the clock. The play clock doesn't have a positive effect. Our shorter play clock doesn't have a positive effect on the game if you're taking a long time to blow the whistle in to start that clock, right? So you've got to have some discipline around, and we're going to get Darren Hackwood, who's done an amazing job of leading our officiating crews. Darren's going to have a training camp. We'll start for our officials here. I think it's next week, actually. And that's going to be one thing they're going to concentrate on, creating that consistency. Because, again, it's about game flow. It's about excitement. It's about fun. I think we're going to see that this season will be the beginning of a new high-energy beginning for the CFL.
We could go on and on.
On and on.
Right? Yeah, Randy, very quickly. I know there's a game again in the Maritimes this year. Are we going to see full-time, an expansion franchise or a franchise, a Canadian Football League franchise in the Maritimes?
Well, look, I'll tell you, I'm very committed to the CFL's 10th team. Mars actually sits on a working group of governors that works with us on an expansion strategy. I think we all know that we need to get that 10th team. First of all, even number of teams are going to change a lot. It's actually going to help us immeasurably on the scheduling front. We've got a really strong group that we're talking to about the Schooner Sports and Entertainment Group, talking about that 10th team. But longer term, we are just fundamentally committed to having the CFL's 10th franchise, and we're working hard, and we're working with a group of owners in a very focused way, including Amar, who's been great, by the way, working with them to build a strategy to make sure that when we do it right, and we get it right.
Okay, again, we could go on and on. Randy, thanks so much. And by the way, you've got two people here that we go back. Jim Young, Empire Stadium.
Empire Stadium.
Jerry Taggy. And
Nick Hebler, my good pal Nick Hebler.
Vic Rapp. He mentions Nick Hebler every second
He's
show.
Nick's a good guy.
We love Nick. You probably had a couple of battles with him in the day.
Nick gave me a bit of a tuning up in my rookie season.
Oh, fisticuffs.
Yeah,
Love it.
No. I'd say, fisticuffs would be flattering to me and maybe not so much to Nick because he was Nick Hebler, for goodness sake.
Yeah, he was so good.
But he was an amazing guy, and it's a franchise with an amazing history.
Yeah, so good.
And now you've got Amar here and his family and their commitment. I think the future is bright for Lions football.
The point I was making is that we're pulling for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Everybody in this studio cares and loves the Canadian Football League. Thanks so much for being our first in-studio guest.
Great to be the first. I thought we got to stay for 2 hours and just visit. Wasn't that the
You can do that if you want. But 2 cream, he takes 2 sugar. Yeah. Okay. Randy, thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Take
Big
care,
Ride, the Twitter guy, is next. Donnie and Dolly, the team on Check.